Welcome viewers, this is Dex of the Black Pants Legion. Now this is an interview. I've spoken with the admins of Space Station 13 before, and they are a notoriously antisocial type who generally don't like to talk with or at people for prolonged periods of time, as they are judge, jury, and executioner on a server and can't be seen demonstrating favoritism, at least in theory. Anyways, here's how this works. I'm putting out an open call to any and all Space Station 13 admins on any public listed servers. This call is here, so answer it. If you are interested in answering or participating in an interview about Space Station 13, its history, and your server, please respond. See the description below for an email contact, and I'll try to get to you as soon as we can to set something up. That being said, this is an interview with a Space Station 13 admin. The questions are largely freeform, and the discussion does not reflect exactly the policy of the server unless stated otherwise by the person I'm interviewing. The reason I say this is that I want to encourage an admin to be frank, honest, and open about their experiences without worrying that they're shitting on their server, or to prevent them from being yelled at for representing the server community in a bad way. This is a point of view and not, I repeat, and not an absolute definition of doctrine on said server. That being said, I welcome our interviewee. Please, internet person, tell me your name, you wish to go by, your server, and your admin rank.
Hi, I'm a Hellstormross, or you might know me on Space as Hellstorm of the Dark Gods. Just call me Ross if you ever see me.
Alright, Ross. What is your admin rank?
I'm just a normal admin.
And what server do you run?
I'm an admin on Archangel, the 40k server.
Okay, so tell us about your server, its history, and what makes it unique.
You cut out for a second.
Tell us about your server, its history, and what makes it unique.
Well, our server is a 40k conversion of a normal Space Station 13, and what I think what makes it unique is just a large, more versatility. And there's a lot more combat that goes on, I would say. It's more combat focused and, yeah.
So it's an action-driven station.
I would say that, yes.
So why should a player play on your station above all others? What makes it truly an interesting station and experience to play on?
Well, like I said, the diversity of it, there are tons of things that will happen in a round, like...
Give me a few examples.
Well, let's say you're just a normal Imperial Guardsman, and then you're just walking around doing your job, and then someone's like, hey, the fucking mime is trying to break into a place. And then you're like, all right, I'll go there. So you go there, and now there's 5 Plague Marines, all of them shooting the mime, and then the mime explodes, turning into a demon, and then you run away because you don't want to get fucking ripped in half.
Yeah, and lasguns only do so much.
I think it's about 20 burn damage.
Well, they can also make food, I'm sure. It's a lasgun. So, why are you an admin on said server? What made you volunteer your time?
Well, it's like a home away from home. I just love the server in general. I love the people there. I love it itself. I just love everything about it.
So, what is the hardest part about being an admin on your server? What unique challenges are there?
Definitely the salt during rounds, because you're pretty much gonna die on the server during pretty much every round, and that's if you're lucky.
And if you're unlucky?
Then you're gonna get gibbed, and you're probably gonna come back as a Krieg and just get totally ruffle stomped by some power armor asshole.
Fun. So what was your path to becoming an admin?
Oh, it's pretty, uneventful, but before it got shut down about last summer, Nork was all like, hey, we're hiring new admins. So I thought, hey, I'll do it. Then I got put on as a trial admin. And then when the server came back, I got put on as an actual admin.
So you just put in the time and weathered the salt storms, as it were?
Yes.
So what is the greatest challenge you faced as an admin personally?
I haven't really faced any challenge so far, because I'm still fairly new to the admin thing. I've only ever been an admin on here for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks now.
So you're still relatively new, and you're waiting your great challenge.
Oh, yes.
Good luck with that. Now, here's a good question. You've played, I presume, quite a bit of Space Station 13 in various incarnations?
I actually only started playing about almost a year ago now. But
So you have a year of 2D Spacemans under your belt.
I would say so, yes.
So what do you think are the greatest problems with Space Station 13 today, or at least from the perspective of your server?
Well, definitely the community, just in general. While I love all the people on my server and on a lot of servers, I think that we're pretty unhospitable to a lot of people, and all we really do is spout memes and just call each other cucks.
That is kind of common with Space Station 13 these days. So, what is your opinion of people who play on your server and record?
Well, if anyone did record, I mean, I'm not going to show favoritism just because, they put some video on YouTube.
Good answer. Good answer. So no sort of favoritism or anything. It's just welcome to the server. I hope you have a good time. If you don't have a good time, you may explode.
Pretty much, yes.
All right. So what do you think makes a good admin good?
Well, you can't choose favorites, and you can't... Just don't be an asshole, mostly. I mean, if someone's, got pretty fucked during a round, I think you're pretty responsible to try and help them, because, your job is to ensure, the fun and safety of people playing the server.
And, of course, to maintain some sort of impartiality while you mete out justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think makes a bad admin bad?
Probably one that, it's kind of a tough question. Probably, someone who takes admin abuse way too far.
All right. Now, on the nature of balance between shitcurity and the gray tide, what's your opinion on how to maintain it?
Well, I gotta cull the herd.
So you're just saying weather out the shitters and hope for the best?
Yep, gotta barricade and hope that the innumerable tide doesn't break down your shitty little wooden fortress.
Understood. Now, what is the best AI law set, at least from your opinion as an admin?
Oh man, I gotta go with Paladin. It gives you so much freedom. Although, I have seen some Asimov law sets that are pretty spooky.
Yeah, Asimov under the wrong, or the right hands can be very interesting.
Definitely.
So what is the best trader you've ever seen?
Probably there's just one miner that just took all the Gibbonite from mining and just completely annihilated the station.
I've never seen someone use Gibbonite to wipe out a whole station, but that sounds pretty fucking awesome.
Oh man, the fireworks were beautiful, 10 out of 10.
I can imagine. So what is the worst antag you've ever seen? Like, just embarrassingly bad?
Probably a clown changeling. I forget his name, but he slipped himself, then got lynched by a group of 5 people.
Damn, what a way to go. So what is the best round of Space Station 13 you as an admin have witnessed?
Well, just on my server, or me playing on another server?
And any. Yeah, I love to share Space Station 13 stories. I love to hear the people's personal history, because we all somewhat carry our own little stories and tales of adventure and misadventure with us. So, what is the best round of Space Station 13 you've ever seen?
Well, I was on Paradise before I got banned from it, but I was a Skrill named Jewel, and this is my first ever antag round on Paradise, and I was a vampire. I was like, alright, I don't know what the fuck a vampire even does. So, I looked at the wiki for a solid 5 minutes, and then I decided something. I'm gonna go to the geneticist, who is right by me. I was a roboticist. And then I would just have him make me a shitload of just humanized monkeys.
That's an interesting angle.
And then, he was like, alright, yeah, sure. So I dragged them all into me, and then sucked all their blood. And then another geneticist comes in who helps me. He's my target, Mindax. He's a machine person. And I had several opportunities to kill him.
Okay, so you were saying you had several opportunities to kill the geneticist. Then what happened?
Well, I tried to take a different approach instead of just, stunning someone, then dragging them into main and just kind of ending their round. So what I decided to do was I went into genetics and I said, "Well, my, you have very nice gyroscopes, good sir." And he said, "Thank you, they were made to attract people." Then started this long line of me giving him gifts and him giving me gifts. And then we eventually decided to get married, but he couldn't feel emotions, so I just hypnotized him. He knew I was a vampire at this point, and I had reached full power, so I could go into the chapel and not, fucking melt.
Yeah.
And we got married.
My God.
And after the chaplain chasing me after I announced I was a vampire, I got on the shuttle and the round ended.
Not what I would expect, but very entertaining. So, what is your opinion on nations rounds? Sometimes these pop up in Space Station 13, sometimes they don't. But I think everyone has seen or heard of them.
It really depends on the station. Although I love them, if I'm going to be honest, because, I think it's just a really interesting route to take. Each individual thing being its own nation, have to trade. I'm a big fan of strategy games, so...
Yeah, and Nations does add quite a bit of strategy that otherwise would not exist. So, here's a question many of my listeners have asked me to ask admins is, why is our prayers never answered? But it should be, why are our prayers never answered? But that's the way they posed it, so I'm going to use their words.
Well, it really depends on the prayer you're sending. I mean, usually people will, jump to you and see, what you're praying for. And on our server, it's usually just, "Oh, great God, Emperor," or insert God here, "Please heal me." And then we just tell them to go fuck ourselves. But on other servers, killing a monkey on a rune and saying it's a sacrifice, you're going to have to do better. You got to do something impressive to get an admin's attention.
All right, so your advice to the player is then make it interesting.
Yeah, try and spice up the round a little bit. If you're not an antag, don't just go around fucking cutting people's heads off.
Well, I mean, Korn does like skulls, but I'm sure that a lowly chef is not going to be in his good graces.
Well, if you had a chainsword.
Perhaps. So, do you usually play Space Station 13? On what servers, what jobs, and why?
I've kind of stepped down from playing it just a little bit. It's mostly due to health problems on my part, but I usually play on Yogg, and I found an admiration for the chemist job. It's probably one of my favorites so far. You always just mix shit and help the station, or, mix shit and not help the station, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, certainly. So, as an admin, how often do you press buttons?
I like my fair amount of admin abuse. The good kind, not the kind where, "Oh, you killed me, now you are gibbed." No, but I press them pretty often. We get a lot of A-helps, mostly due to, them dying from trying to take on a 1-ton space marine.
Yeah, and I can understand where someone would be like, "Hey, help, why this guy unkillable, unhappy face?" So what is the most rewarding part of being an admin?
Definitely the praise, because, if you do a good job, then everyone's going to be like, "Hey, Hellstorm, you're pretty cool," and I'm going to be like, "Well..."
All right.
Just
recognition for just doing a good job, you're saying?
Yes.
So, in your opinion, what is the very best map for Space Station 13?
Well, that's the thing. Like, everyone uses Box, and I haven't had the chance to play really any other. Archangel uses Metastation.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say Box, since, it's the common one, even though for me it's a little bit boring, because I like having large parts of maintenance, and sometimes Box doesn't have that.
I understand that. Box is kind of standard, but it's not as big for some of the higher population setups.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the best antag role, at least in the terms of creating spice, verve, and enjoyment for a server?
Probably vampire, because it's a lot like changeling, and I really don't like changeling, so. But I think it's a better done changeling because you actually have to use strategy instead of just walking up to someone, paralyzing, and now you're dead. No, vampires, they have to put some thought into how they're going to kill someone, and they can't just change into a monkey and fly away. Although they can, basically ethereal John.
Now, if you could say one thing to new players on your station, what would it be?
Don't try and take on Space Marines because they said you were poop.
That's a good one. Now, the last question I like to ask people. Clown or mime?
While the clown is a pretty popular, answer because, you just honk around the station, I think I'm going to have to go to the mime because as the mime, I think you can impose a more supernatural horror upon the station.
In what way?
All right. So let's say you're the chaplain, and you've just recently finished refurbishing the chapel. The engineers helped you. But something macabre is going on. Something more far sinister is lurking within the depths of your maintenance, and you keep hearing the door, go flashing red, and the sound is pretty jarring, especially when you're trying to do whatever chaplain does. And then you finally open it, and there it is, the mime in a plague doctor costume. He just walks up to you and just drags you into maintenance. You're too scared to do anything, and then you just die from heart attack, IRL.
Interesting. So you're saying the mime's non-speaking part is the most terrifying part of it?
Yes.
All right. As we've reached the end of the interview, do you have anything you want to communicate to the Space Station 13 community? Shout-outs, apocalyptic warnings, requests, or so on? The time is yours.
The time will come, and that's it.
Okay, so the time will come, ... Noted! So, anyways, this has been a Space Station 13 interview. Thank you, Mr. Hellstormross, for joining us, and I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.